Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about failure, basically. One of the YouTubers I watch called Jack Edwards has done a podcast with a few other YouTubers, and what they say in the wooden spoon is, I was listening to it yesterday, and the wooden spoon analogy is used when, or is given to the person who came in last in a race, and you can't do anything with a wooden spoon. So what they do with this notion is that take the idea of the wooden spoon and help you think of it as a tool for something else. So in their last podcast they talked about being rejected and failure. So I've been thinking of doing this for a while, but I think this kind of solidified the idea in my head yesterday when I was listening to it, and they were saying the wooden spoon is useless in one situation, but then can be taken home and be used for things like making a cake, or playing the drums, or making a wooden stick figure. So it can be used for other things. So what they were saying was that even though you failed, in one scenario you came out with a wooden spoon, useless, that failure wooden spoon can be transferred to something else, and then that wooden spoon is the motivation for the drive towards something new. With that in mind, sorry about the beeping outside, there's lots of construction works that has been going on for 2 bloody years. If you want to listen to the wooden spoon, it's on Spotify. If you just search it, I'm not sponsored, I just enjoy watching their channels and I enjoyed listening to the podcast. So what I was gonna say is, I wanted to kind of do a quick video, like I'm gonna try and make it quick, about failure, and the sense that you encounter a lot of failures in your life, and recently I've been coming across lots of failures one by one, like just a lot has been coming at the same time, and it's hard to kind of pick yourself up and convince yourself to carry on, to move on to the next goal and improve that goal. I feel like we've all been there, especially uni students in their 3rd year, when there's so much to do and the littlest thing can trigger you and send you God knows. The whole idea of failure is something, this particular thing I really want to touch upon because it's really, really big specifically for me. The idea of failure is subjective. I'm going to use the example of my extended essay, which was a really big piece of work I had to do last semester, and it was 20 credits, and I didn't do as well as everyone else. I got a 2-1, and everyone else who I was surrounded by seemed to be getting firsts. A lot of people got first, and I just thought, what the hell has happened? Did I miss something? People were telling me a 2-1 is good, and like, I understand a 2-1 is good. But if you watch my video about am I average a few months back, I think a year ago, the whole idea of failure is subjective to the person. Like, in the eyes of one person, one thing might be good, and in the eyes of another, it might not be as good. So in my eyes, a 2-1 is average, because everyone comes out of uni with a 2-1. That's just the most common thing that happens, from my experience, from what I have seen. So people tell me that a 2-1 is good, so shut up and stop complaining. No, I have the right to complain, because for my standards and things that other people don't know, it has a big impact on me. For example, my master's needs a high 2-1, and with that blunder it leveled out my mark to a low 2-1 overall. That's why it was an issue for me. Another issue was the fact that everyone else seemed to be doing better than I had, and I didn't know what I did wrong. Thirdly, the topic I was talking about was depression in men and male suicide, which I carry really strongly myself, and I felt like I'd taken on this huge responsibility of conveying the importance of this topic to let it down. And that's why I was so down for so long. So the idea of failure being subjective is different per person. So like, a person can tell me that a 2-1 is good, but the way I've been brought up, striving for the best always, has been ingrained in me from a young age, and that's been good because it's been a motivator, but it's also been a burden because it's been like, if you don't do well, that's not good. And I think even though growing up my parents have moved away from that idea in their head and like instilling that in their kids, part of me will still have the bias in my head because I've grown up with it. And it's like a cultural thing. Like, I've spoken to my personal tutor, and she's Indian as well, and she said, I know exactly where you come from because I had the same pressures, and I think it's hard to get over it. Like, she still feels it. So it's like, I'm not alone, and my cousins and everyone, like, it's weird. There's a pressure on people, like, especially like in our culture, to do really well, because there's an essence of like competition within. There used to be a lot of, I think there still is, but I think my family's just, a lot of my family and stuff are more modern, like in terms of just try the best you can now, through realizing that it's not the be all and end all. But that part of me still in me, and even though I try to like suppress it, it's still gonna come out and show itself in different ways. And I think some people who don't know about that will not understand fully. So that whole idea of failure is different per person. So, and there's a real stigma around it. Like, I've experienced school, like if I did better than someone else, they'd be, why are you being such a so-and-so, and stop complaining, you did well, I did awful. And it's just that nature and the stigma around it that I hated, and I think there still is to a lesser extent. I just burped, ew, sorry. But I think it still exists, and it needs to kind of like change. I think the whole grade I got for my extended essay was kind of the motivation suppressor, because I kind of like gave up on my exams because I was like, there's no point, because I put all my efforts into that extended essay and then did meh. It kind of just threw me off. But I'm working on my dissertation now. I'm gonna try and make that the best piece of work I can bloody do, because I need to make sure it's really good. But I just wanted to kind of like touch upon the idea of failure and stuff at university, and the whole idea that failure is the end. And the podcast, they said failure isn't the end, because then you can have the motivation to do something else. But then success isn't the end either, because then you can improve on that success. And they give the example of like, if you do a 5k, then you can build upon that once you complete that 5k in like half an hour. Don't know if that's possible. I don't exercise, so I think you need some time away to kind of process it yourself, for you to then be able to discuss it like I am now, because I've had enough time to think about what I did, what happened, how I can move on and how I can improve. Because if you asked me to do this a week after I got my results back from my essay, I would not have talked to anyone. I would not have known what to do, and I would have cried on your shoulder. So I think we're in a better place. I just wanted to kind of like put that message out there. Failure is not the end. Like, you can be, I've been rejected a lot by my first choice uni, jobs, volunteering, jobs. Yeah, so it's like, it's a constant cycle of rejection, but you just get up and you dust yourself off, albeit within time, and continue. So I think the biggest message I want to push out there is that failure is fine, it's a motivator, but you need time to kind of process that failure and allow it to help you improve. Hope if you have poor exam marks and you think you've done awfully and like you're down, I hope this video helps you feel a bit better. Yeah, that is it for this video. I shall see you in my next one. See you later.